Mullen has nothing but good announcements as the I-Go arrives in Europe and the dilution gets a full stop. So should you buy? Sit tight for the next 10 minutes as we go through recent news as well as my chart analysis and price prediction. But before we do that, subscribe to our channel Stox 101 for regular stock market updates. Mullen has announced that the I-Go has arrived in Europe with deliveries to Newgate in early January. The delivery got delayed because of China's lockdown issues as the dealership was supposed to get the vehicles on 20th December, and Newgate's general manager said that the number of people inquiring about the I-Go has gone up a lot. Also, a filing revealed that Mullen's dilution is finally postponed till March and the company has to trade above the price of $1 for 10 straight days to comply with Nasdaq's policies. With all that in mind, let's analyze the charts. So as you guys can see right over now in the 1-day chart for MULN, and as always we'll first analyze the 1-day chart, then the 1-hour chart, and to end it off we'll get to the 5-minute chart. But right off the bat we can see that it's Saturday, so of course the market is closed right now, right? But we'll be analyzing the past week's performance and seeing where the stock headed and of course where it's heading, right? So first up, of course, we can see that we've fallen down from the high that we made over here at pretty much 4 cents, or well 40 cents, I'm sorry for that. Right, we're down to about 41, probably like 42%, to a price of 23.44 cents. We're up 2.4% on Friday's trading session, and of course we can see that we're not building the best patterns over here. We did get a reversal pattern which I'll show to you in a bit, but first up, trend analysis real quick. If we look at the overall trend, we can see that we are following a pattern. Right now, this is completely my honest opinion, right? I intend, of course, now I'm not with the short sellers and MMTLP, people know that, and that's exactly why I want you guys to be aware of the actual scenario instead of just being like, oh, the stock is going up, oh, the stock is going up. First up, of course, there is a lot of good news, right? First up being the I-Go news, right? The fact that I-Go is finally in Europe is pretty good, and of course, once it gets delivered to Newgate, that will be one side to be beholded, right? One side to be seen, and at the same time, there is a negative side as well to this. That if we look at the pattern that we formed, we can see that we got a bearish trend pumped up to a lot of percentages, right? We went from like 24 cents to a price of pretty much 60 cents, 150% in 7 days. After that, of course, we fell down, right, by about 54%, got another small pump, got resisted, then continued the bearish trend. Now it seems to be repeating that exact same pattern, right? As you guys can see, we got somewhat of a tick mark over here, and now after this, we have gotten another somewhat of a tick mark, somewhat of a crowbar. So what does this mean for the stock? First up, of course, we'll have to wait until Monday to see what's going to happen. Oh, well, not Monday, but Tuesday, because that's when the markets will start again, right? So of course, in my opinion, we should get a gap up on Tuesday, and that to a pretty strong one, because now finally the threat of a reverse split and the threat of further dilution are no longer with us, right? So first up, that's that. And secondly, after we get a gap up, will we be able to retain those prices? That's gonna be a bit difficult, right? First up, of course, we do need to address some things. A publication, I won't name it, but a specific publication that was writing a lot of short selling related articles about MULN and how MULN is a bad stock. It turns out that they did the same with MMTLP, and they did have a short position in TRCH and MMAT, which is, well, these stocks over here, right? So MMTLP and MMAT. And that is why I believe that that specific publication is probably siding with the shorts, and we should avoid any information that we get from that, right? So you'll be able to see them over here in TradingView pretty much, right? So you can check that out for yourself and see which publication I'm talking about, and then of course avoid the content that they post. Now, secondly, or rather thirdly, there will be a lot of attempts to kind of make the investors fearful of how the stock is going to fall because of this pattern, which of course, well, I don't think I'm contributing to that fear, but I personally think that it might be one possibility. That's why I just told you guys about it. And at the same time, there is a huge possibility of a reversal as well. That's not completely out of the sight. That's not completely out of the plan, right? If we're able to continue with everything that we're doing right now, the good news, right? The good implementation. Of course, if we do get cars on the road, that is going to be one hell of a thing. And in my opinion, hitting $1, hitting a price of $1 in like before March seems a bit believable to me because, of course, if we can get something good on this earnings report, probably signs of some progress at least, then the stock might be able to kind of form up a bullish trend and then go over there and touch it, right? But at the same time, we do need to keep in mind that it is still a risky bet. So for all of you who don't want to take any risks, you should probably stay away from penny stocks and you'll be better off investing in more stable companies. But at the same time, I believe we should get into a bit more detail. So let's quickly jump on into the 1 hour chart. And now that we're in the 1 hour chart, we can see that over here, first up, we did get a strong amount of volume over here. And we did get a strong pin bar candle on the lower side, which indicated, of course, further bearish movements. So this was a pretty good point, right? Of course, in technical terms, but it was actually a really bad point for the holders, right? It's not a good point for holders. But if we talk about good points for the holders, there might be some over here. We did get, well, there aren't any good, there aren't much good points over here. The first one, of course, we did see that over here we did get good pin bar candles to the top, but at the same time they were kind of disregarded and discarded by these red candles. Over here we can see the same thing. No matter how much bullish movement we get, we always discard it with a follow-up red candle. So what's going to happen, in my opinion, even if we get a gap up on Monday, which we, or rather, well, Tuesday, I'm sorry again. If we get a gap up on Tuesday, it's going to be kind of strong. In my opinion, we probably should be around at least above 24 cents, I believe. So once we get a gap up over there, we probably will touch a resistance soon after, right? So probably 24.5 or 25 cents. And once we do that, we might come crashing down back to these current prices. So I'm not too hopeful for the short-term movements, but in the long term, of course, for those of you who are holding, if I were in your place, I would definitely not sell. I would probably continue holding because I personally can't see a future for this company. And at the same time, of course, not financial advice, but let me know in the comments if you think Mullen can actually recover or not. And with that, we'll move on to the most detailed charts that we have, which of course are the 5-minute charts. So as you guys can see that we're now in the 5-minute chart for MULN, and first up, of course, we can see that we do have a strong support over here. Let me quickly mark it. First up around, of course, the 22-cent level and 22.1 as well, and above that pretty much 22.2 as well. So these are three important support lines that we have touched. If we talk about resistance, we did get some at 22.4 pretty much, 22.6 right over here. Resistance at around 23.3, and support around 23.25. Another support around, let's see, pretty much 23. That's psychological, so we can't really do anything about that. Over here, we can see that we did form somewhat of a bearish indicator on the market closing hours, pretty much around the time that the market was about to close, when the bell was about to ring. So let's see what happened in the aftermarket real quick. If we get into the extended trading hours, yes, we're a bit down on the aftermarket. What does this indicate? Well, we might be up for a gap up, as I already told you, because as you guys can see, we've completed our pullback phase, in my opinion. So let's see. I personally guess that we'll get a gap up on Tuesday, and that will likely lead to a further bearish run, because that's pretty much what we've seen over the past record of MULN, right? So it's not exactly just my own opinion or my own interpretation, right? It's what we've seen with data, that every time Mullen gets a huge gap up, it usually ends up in a bearish trend, right? So we got a gap up over here as well, bearish trend. But then again, as always, penny stocks, they have great potential, and at the same time, they have great risk as well. So you should always take caution while buying them for long term. And at the same time, of course, if you were to take some profits, you can definitely get some trades over here, like this one over here, right? We can see a bullish trend build up. Could have easily bought somewhere around here, and you could have taken it over here from, let's say, 22.2 cents to a price of 23.2 cents. That could have been a 4.5% trade in like 1 hour and 30 minutes, so like 100 minutes, and that's pretty good, right? Of course, At the same time, this is definitely not financial advice, so you should always do your own research before you trade. If, however, you enjoyed my analysis, be sure to hit the like button. If you did not enjoy it for some reason, be sure to hit the dislike button. You can subscribe to our channel Stox 101 for more such videos, and as always, I will see you guys in the next one.